Okay, friends, welcome back once again to Look and Live. You here with Pastor James Devalon. And this is another reaction video where I get to share my perspective as we continue our journey with Dr. Jennifer. Dr. Jennifer is putting us to school, and we are talking about the seven psychological sins and seven deadly psychological sins. And the first thing we talked about was criticism. Make sure you go and check it out. I'm going to put a link up there. Make sure you go and look at that and see what you've learned from that video. And Dr. Jennifer is giving us some really good food for thought here, addressing mental health and things that I really believe that need to be discussed. So make sure you go through the series with me. Enjoy the content. By the way, this is coming from Life and Health. You can watch the entire series in the description below. I'm going through it one by one and releasing those videos one after another. So in the hope they will help you and maybe you can use them to help somebody else as well. So let's continue. So the second psychological sense we're going to be talking about today, the first one we spoke about was criticism. So the second one is complaining. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the heart of the message. Let's do that now.
The second deadly psychological sin is complaining. Know anything about that? I believe that complaining is based on a sense of entitlement. We're kind of outraged customers that feel that we deserve better. And so at the foundation of complaining is this, what we call entitlement mentality. And of course, that needs to be dealt with. But complaining in and of itself causes a whole plethora of problems. First of all, every time you complain, you reinforce those negative thoughts. So what happens is with each complaint, that problem gets a little bit bigger in your field of vision. And pretty soon, all that fills your field of vision is all of this negativity. As a result, a person develops what we call low frustration tolerance. Think of it in the sense of they're carrying around a very full glass of water. All these negative things are right up to the brim, and the slightest extra drop causes the water to overflow. If you keep focusing on the negative, you'll end up in that situation where you have a very low tolerance for anything aggravating. Let's face it, in reality, there are positives. Life isn't all bad. It's not all good, it's not all bad. We have a choice as to what we're going to focus on. Story is told of a cowboy. Cowboy was driving down the road. He had his dog in the back of his truck, and he had a trailer behind the truck pulling his horse. There was a terrible accident. The vehicles were strewn all over the road. A policeman came upon the scene. The policeman first came to the dog. He realized the dog was not going to make it, so he shot the dog. Then he came upon the horse, and he realized the horse wasn't going to make it, so he shot the horse. Then he found the cowboy. He'd been thrown out of the vehicle into a field, and he was lying there watching the policeman shoot his animals. The policeman came to him and looked down at him and said, "How are you doing?" And the cowboy said, "I've never felt better." When we complain, there's a certain amount of payoff. You know, Dr. Phil says, what's the payoff? That means that we're getting something out of what we're doing. In fact, we have an expression in behavioral psychology that goes like this. It says, all behavior is operative, meaning that in everything that we do, we're either trying to get something or we're trying to avoid something. In either case, achieve something. We're getting something out of it. So even when we engage in a negative behavior that ultimately hurts us, there is a temporary, at least, payoff in that behavior. So normally people really kind of, on some level, enjoy complaining, makes them feel maybe a little righteous. But in the cowboy's case, the payoff for complaining was really bad, and the payoff for not complaining was quite high, so he didn't complain.
No.
The replacement for complaining is gratitude. When we realize we really don't deserve the blessings that fall all around us and upon us every day of our lives, we start to feel grateful. I prescribe gratitude to people that are negatively focused, clients that have been so consumed with negativity and complaining that they've made themselves depressed. I prescribe it like a pill. I say, this is what you have to do. You have to practice this morning and evening. I tell them they must go home and they must think of 3 things for which they are grateful every evening and share it with another person. And then the following morning when they arise, think of 3 things for which they are grateful and share it with another person. It's amazing how difficult this is for some people. Sometimes in the middle of a counseling session, I'll say, "Are you grateful for anything?" And they'll try to think of something, and then I'll pressure them a little, and they'll try to think of something, and maybe they'll think of one little thing. Then they'll go right back to their negative thinking. And finally, I'll say to them, the real problem here is not all the problems in your life. The problem here is that you're focused on those problems. Let's work on changing your focus. I want to tell you about a study that showed the effect of gratitude. It was performed on undergraduate students over a 10-week period of time. The undergrads were split into 3 groups. They completed a weekly log of their emotions. 1/3 were to write about 5 impacting events. 1/3 were to write about 5 hassles, and 1/3 were to write 5 things for which they were grateful. Then they wanted to measure how these different focuses affected their emotions. The study says, the thankful group reported fewer physical complaints overall than the hassles group and spent significantly more time exercising than did the subjects in the other 2 groups. So gratitude had the effect of making people take care of themselves better. And in addition to that, they just plain felt better physically as a result of gratitude. It's worth a try, isn't it? Reminds me of a quote by one of my favorite authors, Ellen White. She said, "Nothing tends more to promote health of body and soul than does a spirit of gratitude and praise."
Nice. What do you guys think? What did you learn? You know, I'm gonna be probing, right? I'm probing as always. Yeah, so we can take on the attitude of complaining all the time. You know, like when you look at what's happening with these people, the BLM movement, and all these people who are complaining about racism and complaining about, you know, white fragility and the Karens, and so it's like there's so many things to complain about in life, but the question is, how effective have they been as far as achieving things for yourself? And I love what she said here about the low frustration tolerance. So the more you complain in life, the less tolerant you become and more unwilling you are to work on the issues for what they are. And most people who do complaints, even when they get their way, they still never happy anyway. You know, so this sense of entitlement, right? I feel like I'm deserving. And I think there's a lot of communities today in the world who behave like they're supposed to have all these rights. They're supposed to have all these extras. They're supposed to be able to trump on everybody else's right. And nobody is allowed to speak against anything. And I think this comes from a sense of entitlement mentality. You feel like you are deserving more than you do. Really, complaining came from, I will say, a narcissistic, self-centered spirit. It is really something that we do because, like she says, all behavior is operative because we think there's something to gain. But truly, we lose so much more. We lose friendship, we lose ourselves, and we become weak to the point where we become problem focused instead of solution focused, which I think is also bad as well. Look at it in the Bible. You notice even in the Old Testament, part of the issues that God had with ancient Israel was that they complained so much. They murmur. And no matter how good God was, there was always something to whine and pine about, you know. So when I think about that situation, I can see how it relates to what she was talking about, is that, yeah, we can complain about some things. And I think certainly, but if we choose to look at our lives and all the blessings that we do have and families and friends, and there's so much more to be happy about than to be sad and complaining about consistently. One of our elders in church had a stroke, and he was really down. He didn't know what to do with himself. And when the senior pastor and myself, we visited him at his home, one of the things that we did was talking about gratefulness, and the thing is, he had to make up a list of 10 things every day to write on his list. I mean, I'll tell you what happened with that. So on day one, he was supposed to write only 10 different things. When we went back to his house the following day, not only he had 10, he had about 60 different things that he was grateful for, and he was already working on another list of 100 more things that he was thankful for. That elder went on to fully recover from his stroke, by the way. He was the piano player, and really his attitude, he was a man of faith, which was a blessing. But to top it off, we spoke about the need to be grateful, to be thankful, to not complain and whine and pine. That's not gonna get things done. So look at your life. Let's look at our lives and say, what are some things I'm thankful for? What about your family? What about your place of living? It may not be the best condition, but is it all that bad? What about your faith? What about your faith? Do you have faith in God? Is your faith in Him increasing? What about God's love? Are you grateful for the love of God? Do you realize God loves you and that you're experiencing that love? What about your children? Do you have children? Are you grateful for them? Are they at a place in their lives where things are happening that can say, I'm very grateful, I'm proud of my kids and stuff like that? So, I mean, you have to look at your life and look at what you're thankful for. I mean, I have a job, I'm very thankful. I have so many different things. So do me a favor, comment below. Tell me 5 things that you are thankful for. I'm giving you a homework here. Tell me 5 things that you are thankful for. Let's talk and let's see how that plays in your life. And let's make it a goal this week to speak about the things that we are thankful for and share that with others as well. For me, I'm thankful for my family. I have an amazing wife and children. I'm very grateful for them. I'm thankful for my home. I love my home. We were blessed with a beautiful home. It's a lot to keep up with, of course. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, but it's just, but the home in itself is beautiful. There's a lot of work to be done, and even in the work, I'm actually grateful, even for the ability to do the work. I'm very grateful for my health. I work in nursing home, and I've seen health, how serious of a thing that is. It's a treasure to have my health. Even though I'm a heart patient, I was born with a rare condition, but God has spared my life, and I'm alive and well, and I can go to the gym and I can do things, and I don't have to worry about that. I can walk and I can talk, and I'm very grateful for that. Also grateful for my mother. She is an amazing woman. She's one of those person you can call anytime, and I'll go to her house to eat some of her good cooking, and she never disappoints me. So I'm very grateful for that. One more thing, I'm grateful for YouTube and my subscribers. I'm grateful for you guys because you have no idea. You are one of the reasons I wake up in the morning. I wake up every day thinking about how am I going to, what video am I going to respond to or to react to, and I read my comments and I check out my emails to see what you guys are asking for, and I try to get to those videos as well. And reading your comments and those who are supporting, even those who are criticizing me and correcting me, all of that make me to be a better person. I'm very grateful for people like yourself. I looked at our members. Actually, 2 people signed up and became a member of the Look and Live YouTube page. I'm like, Lord, I'm so grateful. Like, who am I that these people feel that there's something happening in this channel that they want to invest their time and money into that? And I'm like, we have 13 members. Like, praise God. And I know for some others that means the world, that they have like hundreds and thousands. Like for me, I'm like, I got 13 members that are supporting us on a monthly basis. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that because I don't deserve it. I think it's all of a blessing. It's all out of the kindness of your heart. And I'm like, I'm moved by that. So I'm thankful for you. Thank you for people like yourself. Thankful for my family. Thank you for my health, my mother, the home that we have. I'm very thankful for that. You know, there's much more. I can go on and on and on, but I want to hear from you. What are you thankful for? Instead of complaining, let's talk about how grateful we are. What are you thankful for? And comment below. And I don't want to be sharing these verses in these studies. I have verses in my head that I could share, but I'm like, no, let's talk. Let's just have the conversation and let's talk. If I have to share any verses, we'll do it in the comment below. How about we do that? All right, friends, are you ready for the next one? So I'll see you on the next one. 7 Psychological Sin. We're going to continue the journey. Until next time, and as always, remember to look unto Jesus, to live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.